One exhibitor here in the Growing Taste Marquee, Paolo Arrigo, has recreated the garden of the Roman writer Pliny. He's done this in conjunction with Fishbourne Palace near Chichester. And we went along to see him to ask what kind of gardeners were the Romans.
Our garden at Hampton Court this year is Pliny's garden. It's a Roman garden, and we're really excited about it because it features plants and vegetables that the Romans would have grown. We're here in Fishbourne Roman Palace in Sussex, and it's amazing to think that this villa here is the largest Roman villa north of the Alps. So from here to Turin, there's nothing like it. And some of the mosaics here are as good as anything you'd find in Italy. And this would have been buzzing with Roman soldiers and Roman life, and so just a wonderful setting and a great inspiration for our garden this year. Vines are really important to the Romans. Vitis vinifera. They were of course associated with winemaking, and this area of southern England would have been completely planted up with vines everywhere. And even today in Italy, the legacy of the Romans is that there are over 1,000 varieties of grapes still produced in Italy. And the Romans wouldn't have just made wine with it, they would have used the leaves as well, and even injured soldiers would have eaten the white grapes to help them recover more quickly. They're a good source of vitamin C and very, very beneficial, as well as giving shade as well, so something that you would have seen in every Roman garden. When you think of roses, you think they're sort of quintessentially British, and of course they were native before the Romans arrived. But the Romans introduced other varieties which were from Egypt, and obviously a highly decorative plant. The Romans would have used it in banquets, they used it as a perfume, they even made rose wine with it, rose oil, rose water, which they would have used to sweeten cakes, and they would have also used it medicinally as well in their eyes for eye infections. You might think this is an artichoke, but actually it is a cardoon, and these would have been used widely in the Roman Empire. You're after these stalks here, which would have been blanched with straw, held in place with twine. And even today in Italy, especially in the Piedmont region of Italy, so in the Alps, we would eat these gratin style, so they're boiled first until they're tender, remove the filaments, these stringy bits here, and then with butter, not with olive oil, not in the Alps, and mountain cheese that would be grilled. And even today, the best cardoons come from Bologna. Pliny describes lots of different shapes and sizes and colours of lettuce. These are varieties that the Romans would have been really used to seeing. It was typical of Romans to carry seeds with them wherever they went, and especially fast-growing varieties. It was transportable food, if you like, and when Romans were stationed in a particular place for a series of months, this would have just been ideal. Well, this is the triclinium, and this is an outdoor area where the local Romans would have come to eat their lunch, and they wouldn't have eaten in a formal way with tables and chairs like we would, but instead they would have lounged around with their wine under the sun, and this is a typical example of what they might have eaten or something similar. And this is the street food of Rome, and it's called porchetta romana. Piglet stuffed with fennel seeds, with beautiful fragrant rosemary and sage and garlic, all things that the Romans would have introduced not only to Italy via their travels but also to the UK. And people are often surprised with things like coriander and cumin, which we consider almost as exotic even nowadays, that the Romans were using them back then. And really that's the whole purpose of our garden at Hampton Court. We just want people to identify with some of the plants and have that link back to 2,000 years ago. The
a big question, what did the Romans ever do for us? It has to be said. But obviously a lot when it comes to vegetables. We still eat so many of them today.
It's incredible. Wherever the Romans went, they traded. One thing came from one part of the empire and they traded it to another part of the empire.
And would it have been like that? Would they have used plants in these combinations, or would it be more formal, like an allotment system?
Yeah, the Romans actually, we think of a Roman garden being very formally laid out, and they were, but the planting was very loose, very cottagey, and an allotment is actually still a Roman measurement.
Now, tomato and basil together, a classic Italian combination, wasn't actually around in those days, was it?
It was Columbus and the Americas that produced the tomato, and the Italians really took the tomato to their hearts, and basil too. And not only are they good in the plate, but they're also good companion plants, as you know.
Yeah.
But basil was actually used really to feed horses, and they used it as a medicine to put in their ears to cure ear infections. And Pliny said that if you ate too much basil, it would make you go mad, which does explain Julius Caesar.
Yeah, you've got a lovely little pomegranate in a pot over there.
Pomegranates were used to aid fertility in women. And it was said that if they ate those, they would have a better chance of producing children. And also the burnt husks, that was used to repel gnats. And guess what? They said that the juice of the pomegranate was healthy for you, and we know that even today.
Yeah. And you brought your Roman soldiers with you, just to complete the scene. It's been really nice to see you.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Ciao.
Ciao.
And if you want to see more of Paolo's garden, you can on our website. Now, I've come to the